excited to be here to do
My
this.
name is Laura Foster.
Guitar player extraordinaire slash resident fun guy at Northside Baptist.
Trio Quinn. I'm actually Charlie's cousin.
Bill Baker. Eddie.
Baines Blanton. I'm a junior at Lowndes High School.
Peterson. I'm a student at Lowndes High School.
Alright guys, so before we get, rolling into the rest of the episode, this is something I've never done before. So Karsen's here with me, and we're sitting here. Here's the thing, and the reason for that is because this testimony is no longer valid, that what we originally recorded, which I'm extremely happy to rectify. The reason being is because he got saved at summer camp. Was it last weekend, right? Or was it last week? It's been last week. So, Karsen, it's not going to be long, but, what was your experience with that? Why did you feel like you needed to be saved in that moment? Like you weren't saved, you thought you were saved, and then you were like, oh, I'm not. So what brought you to that conclusion?
So when I first got, saved, but I didn't really, I was 8, my mom said.
Uh-huh.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't really quite understand what it really meant. I was just doing it because my brother was doing it.
Yeah.
And, I was just like, my brother's doing this. He's an inspiration to me. I want to be like him, so I went to do it with him.
Right.
And so it's all of my family.
Yeah.
And so I had said the prayer. I didn't really understand what it meant. I don't think I really meant it when I said it.
Yeah.
And then one other time, this was at summer camp. No, Dean Now.
Was it a couple years ago?
2023
Okay.
or 2022.
Nice.
When my other friend Michael, he wanted to, so he stood up because he wanted to be saved.
Yeah.
And he asked me to stand up with him because he didn't want to
be alone.
Yeah, be alone. So I went over there, and so I said the prayer with one of the guys, but I didn't actually mean it when I said it because I thought I was already saved.
Mm-hmm.
So that time, I didn't really get saved either.
Yeah.
And then as I started to kind of, live on with my life, I realized that, I don't think I'm really saved. And so I told that to Ethan Stoudemeyer. I told him, I don't know if I'm really saved. And he said to talk to his dad, Jim Stoudemeyer, after we finished small groups. And after that,
did he lead you in a prayer?
Yeah, so Wednesday, June 19th, 2024, I got saved with Jim Stoudemeyer at around 9 o'clock p.m.
Nice.
I said the prayer of him.
Nice. Dude, and I'll tell you, so,
and I got baptized this Sunday.
Yes, you did. And, I was texting Charlie, to see who'd all got saved and everything, and he said Karsen. I was like, Karsen? Oh my gosh. And then my brain went, oh, I got to change his episode then, which is what we're doing now. But man, I know, again, this was really short, but I just wanted to, tell people, what had happened. And it was so cool to watch you get baptized. I was ecstatic. My voice was shot because I was dealing with a cold, but I screamed at the top of my lungs, because I was so happy for you and still am. And I was actually sitting next to your mom during the 10:30
Yeah, she
service.
said that you guys were definitely excited about that.
Yeah, we were, man. And, it was so funny. I kind of jerked around with it. I just said that because we're, both short. I said, man, I hope we'll see Karsen when he pops up right there when he gets dunked, standing right there. But, man, I'm rejoicing with you. Everybody else is rejoicing with you, and I can't be prouder of you. And, for people wondering, I'm going to leave your original testimony in there as well, just to show the growth as well, and things like that. And just, you might have said something in there that, is still truthful. So, we're just going to leave it at that. But, man, I thank you for doing this again at, kind of short notice.
Yeah.
And I can't be proud of you, man.
I'm always glad to come on.
Of course. And, man, like I said, I'm so happy for you, and I can't wait to see what God does through your salvation. So, thanks again. All right, welcome back to the podcast today, and I'm so glad to have you on today. If you can introduce yourself, and we'll keep on going.
All right. Thank you for bringing me onto the podcast.
Of course.
I am Karsen Kay. I am 13 years old, and I thank you for bringing me on.
Of course. So, Karsen, with you being so young, what is your testimony like?
So when I was around about 10, I think, that was when my brother Cameron got saved. and I'm pretty sure the Wednesday before the Sunday that me and him both got baptized, I got saved with Noah.
Nice. And we're talking about Noah Divine.
Yeah, Noah Divine.
Yeah, just got to make sure for people, because there's like 3 different Noahs that I've interviewed on this podcast, so we got to make sure. But that's really cool. So you and Noah both got saved at the same time, right? Yeah.
No, Noah got saved when he was 6 in the car.
Got you.
On the way to
That's
school.
right. Yeah. So then I got you.
And then I said the prayer with Noah, I'm pretty sure, and then I got saved.
Nice. So he led you to Christ then.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, dude. I didn't know that. He's never told me that. Cool. So, when it comes to like living, cause so you live with a huge family, right?
Yeah, 8 people.
8. Whew.
5 siblings is a lot sometimes.
Right. I mean, so what experiences is that like for you with living with so many people in your family? I mean, there's countless things that could possibly happen from day to day, right? So, what's that been like for you?
Well, to start it off, living in such a big family is kind of stressful sometimes.
Uh-huh.
It's also pretty chaotic and loud with 3 younger sisters and that. It's always pretty chaotic, but sometimes it's nice to have a big family because you always have someone to talk to and interact with and just be able to hang out with. Yeah,
and you wouldn't, and even though there's those chaotic moments like that, right, you wouldn't have it any other way because you know what? That's your family right there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, but man, with me being in a family of only 3 people, that's crazy that you're in a house with 8 people.
Yeah, that's almost 3 times as many.
Dude, that is crazy. But when it comes to, this is a pretty new thing that you've started doing, that at least from what I've noticed, is what got you into playing baseball?
Oh, yeah. So, when I was around 7 or 8, I used to play baseball with my dad and my 2 older brothers, Corbin and Cameron. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed doing it. And when I was around 10, my dad got some really bad injuries with his shoulder and his knee and his back, and he couldn't really play baseball or any outside sports at all anymore.
Right.
And as my brothers got older, they also stopped wanting to play outside. Mm-hmm. I continued playing by myself for a while until I was around like 11 or 12, and then I just kind of stopped playing since it got boring by myself.
Right.
And recently, my friend Michael, who now lives in my neighborhood and is also now coming to this church, he signed up for baseball. Well, his mom signed him up for it. Mm-hmm. And they asked me if I wanted to sign up with them. And I said yes, and now I play baseball.
Dude, and those pictures, like, I know I can't visually show them, like, this is an audio podcast, but those pictures who took those? Because, man.
His mom's a photographer.
Got you, okay.
Yeah.
Those were awesome, dude. Those were really good of you. But yeah, that's really cool to see that, you've kind of picked that back up. And, just kind of an encourager. You never know what God's going to do through it. Maybe you could spread the gospel to somebody through it. You never know.
I already have been.
Nice, dude. See, you don't need me. You already know what you're doing. Like that's really cool. And and of course, since that's your age group, you can invite them to church or whatever. And you might have already started doing that too. I have no idea. But that's really, really cool. So what position do you play?
Well, I generally play either third base or center field.
Gotcha. And so I know this isn't on the notes, but for you, like, what's challenging about that, or what's fun about that for you? You would say like bat position.
Well, for batting, I'm actually pretty good at that. Most of the time, I hit the ball pretty far.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm the second fastest runner on my team, and
nice, dude. Well, I mean, I've seen you run around this church. I would hope that you're the second fastest runner, if not the fastest runner on that baseball team. Because, dude, you were like, I'll just be talking to somebody, right? Maybe Bates, for example, and you just fly around. I'm like, what's that, Karsen? Wait a minute, what in the world?
I just teleported by.
No, for real. I think you did, like legit. So, what impact has the Northside and the Northside Student Ministry? What has it had on you as a student?
Well, to start that off, Northside Ministry has always been a wonderful impact on my life.
Mm-hmm.
All of my best friends I've met here at Northside. Northside is also a place where I got saved with Noah. The people here at Northside are wonderful as well. Whenever I feel anything, I know I can...
You're good.
Yeah. I feel like I can just talk to anybody there.
Yeah.
And I cannot thank God enough for Noah Devine and Ethan Stoudemire. They really both helped me through a lot of things, prayed for me, stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
They are two influences in my life that I look up to all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good, man. That's really good because, one thing that's been encouraging for me to see is like with being an older youth inside, the student ministry, right? Is to see how you guys' friendships are, and in our life group as well, right? That's so cool to see how tight knit you guys are because at least with I know you don't experience this, but at Lounge anyway, you don't see that tight closeness, because it's about people are just saying it's about me, me, right?
Yeah.
But you guys, you stick together and you look out for each other, and that's so cool to see, and of course, you guys support me thick and thin. Like you're wearing the T-shirt right now,
yes, sir.
which, and that was also that's something that I didn't even. And I'm just going off on kind of a tangent, sorry, but the T-shirt thing, dude. Can you believe how many people have bought a T-shirt? Like just saying, like it's crazy. Remember D now when we looked around?
Yeah, there were so many people. So many.
There was about 10 or 11 people, and it caught the attention of the speaker. Austin Williams, because I've interviewed him.
Yeah.
And we talked about that. He said, man, I had to see what this was about because there was this line on this T-shirt and it was everywhere. And I'm like, hey, well, I was thinking too, I was like, well, there's somebody that wears it more than me, and that's Karsen Kay. Because, even though I've got 2 of them, man, I mean, you wear this thing a lot, and I really appreciate it. It means a ton that, not just you and other people are wearing these T-shirts that, have got that verse on the back and has the podcast on it. And like, and I know people they've asked me for like, hey, I want hats, I want hoodies. I'm like, hey, now, hold up, wait a minute, chill out. We got to get these T-shirts rolling a bit more first. But, yeah, for sure. And just kind of add on with the Northside stuff. Like, in certain events like D-Now and things like that, what do they mean to you? Like, do they mean anything specifics? Like, this last D-Now that we had was, what was there a memory that stuck out or anything like that?
The last D-Now that we had,
mm-hmm.
I would say one memory I had is playing football with a bunch of other bigger middle school kids and just getting absolutely tackled to the ground.
But you had fun with it though, didn't you?
It was fun.
Dude.
And it was nobody that I'd ever really talked to before, and it was
mm-hmm.
I expected it to be kind of a boring D-Now since I wasn't with like Ethan or Noah or anyone I normally hang out with.
I got you.
And I actually quite enjoyed hanging out with some of those people.
That's good. And you got some, you got some more different friendships too. Because while it is amazing to have your friends like you said, like Ethan and Noah, it's also good to branch out and meet new people too. And that's one thing for sure that Northside, the student ministry, has done for me and for you. I mean, dude, imagine, think about all the people we've met just in the different ministries we've been across.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like I can't even name them all. I know you can't either because there's so many.
I'm also really bad at names. So.
Me too. Yeah. So we kind of talked about it a little bit, but like, what would you say is your favorite part about this student ministry and Northside as like a whole? What would you?
My favorite thing about this ministry is probably that I can connect with so many different people in the student ministry.
Yeah.
Everybody in the life group and on normal Wednesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wonderful being able to connect to pretty much anybody there.
Yeah.
Everybody's willing to talk and open about it.
Uh-huh.
It's just great to see.
Yeah. And I know this isn't on your notes again, but when it comes to our life group, what do Mr. Brandon and Miss Natasha, what do they mean to you as your life group leaders? If you and this can be short, you don't have to, But
well, Mr. Brandon and Miss Natasha are also 2 people that I look up to because I know both of them had a very rough childhood, and Mr. Brandon goes through a lot of constant pain all the time, and he's just a good guy. He's always helpful, always willing to talk to someone.
And always funny.
2 great kids. Yeah, he's always very funny.
Can we just acknowledge that Mr. Brandon Devine is hilarious? And like I'll catch myself all the time like laughing at something he's either saying or I don't know if I think you've probably noticed when Miss Natasha he's talking and Miss Natasha makes a face, she's like. Like that cracks me up all the time because I don't know if I'm the only one that notices, but it makes me laugh so much.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna go into youth questions. All right. So, When you look at the youth today, do you see hope, or are you worried about the future?
Well, when I look at the youth today, I see two things for the future of it.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of the public schools, I see kind of a downfall.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that are being taught there is wrong and not good.
Right.
Most of today's middle schoolers are not great kids, always lying, cursing, being disobedient, and
Right.
much more. And a lot of it's mainly because of either bad parenting or bad friends, which is really sad to see.
And, another thing I think that can contribute to what you said was, I remember when I was growing up, because I've been back to my elementary school a few times, just to walk around and everything. And one of the things that I've noticed was that there was there was so much social media. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
But now kids that are born now, you and the other kids, that was just there.
Yeah, they were born off to having these tablets and stuff and access to things like Instagram
Right.
and YouTube, which are not things for young kids to be on.
And one of the things I said was to my mom, I said, I feel like sometimes kids, they find out too much in an early age. You probably know more about stuff that what I did, than what I didn't know at your age. I was I was completely oblivious till I was about maybe, I don't know, maybe it started happening maybe around your age, maybe 13, 14, 15, maybe I was I didn't really find, but now it's just out there.
Yes,
for anybody to
everywhere,
see. And
anyone.
So between that combination of social media and then parenting, as well as, and the parenting comes with, all these different things. And then just, habits they pick up from other people.
Yeah.
It is disheartening, and I do agree with you on there's a lot, especially with Lowndes too. At the high school there's also stuff that happens, but on the flip side of that, you've got the Northside Student Ministry, which these kids are absolutely amazing, right?
Yeah.
And getting to talk with them and see them grow, with their walk, especially you and Cameron. And so encouraging for people, because I know that they're like, man, how in the world is, this world gonna turn out? Because they're the next ones that got to lead up. Well, we have to show them that there's good eggs, in this generation too. We're not all, gonna turn this world into doomsday. Okay, it'll be okay.
But a lot of the kids in this student ministry that are younger in the 6th or 7th grade, I always saw them just by themselves, just not wanting to talk.
Yeah.
And I slowly started seeing them just become more interactive with people.
That's good.
Watching them grow.
Yeah, that's
and now
really
they're
good.
Much more active people. They're my friends, and
yeah, that's awesome to hear, because I know that it can be daunting for somebody that young to come into you're
class of such big kids.
Right, because there's, the range is from 6th grade all the way to seniors. So it's a very wide range of kids, and
it can be kind of stressful.
Yeah, and one of the things I just want to point out, and I've said it before on the podcast, shout out to Noah Blunt for, for you're able to come. God's given you these sermons that speak to every single age group in a Wednesday night room.
Yes,
which that can be. I feel like in my heart that'd be very difficult, because you're trying to, you want to make sure that you speak, to this demographic, but also here, so it's not and you kind of mesh it together. You know what I'm saying? That'd be difficult, because there's some stuff you don't want to say because you got younger kids in the room, and there's some stuff that you just want to say because the older kids need to hear it. And so, but he does that. God allows him to do that and gives him the word so flawlessly, and it's so amazing to watch him preach. I don't know if you were you it was recent when he preached it was a Sunday night, and man, ooh, it was so good. It's I could sit and probably listen to him talk for hours, man. It was really good. But I know you can agree too. His sermons are amazing.
I don't know how he does it. He gets the words in his mind. God just speaks through him, and he just goes. I
know, and and what's remarkable too is he finds time to study. During those times, because he's working up here, and he's still, I think, still doing college. I think he's wrapping up that, but he's still doing it. and he's still trying to do other stuff, and I'm like, man, this man don't stop, does he?
Yeah, always working.
Oh yeah, he's always working.
And another thing about you don't want to say some of the things in front of like all the kids on the Wednesday nights is how to start the small groups again.
Yeah.
Where they can say other things
good.
like that to the older groups, where there's not younger kids that will shouldn't really hear some of the things like
right.
that.
And that's why I am thankful that the small groups did start again for that reason, almost because of that. So yeah, definitely. So when it comes to, so like say if one of your friends, like maybe the baseball team, whatever, if they walked up to you and said, Karsen, I'm struggling to navigate this world in a biblical way, because like we've discussed, this world is crazy, right? What would you tell them and why? Or what would you tell them? Not a why, but what would you tell them?
Well, the first thing I would tell someone who is struggling biblically is to keep strong in your faith if you have any.
Mm-hmm.
Get someone or multiple people or anybody you trust that is already in strong faith with the Lord to
and preferably
help you,
older.
Yeah, preferably older.
Mm-hmm.
To help you go through this and pray with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, I would recommend a good idea to set up a daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing hard, like maybe set 2 alarms, one to pray and read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
The other to just take some time to yourself.
Yeah.
Take control of your situation and to just understand everything that you're going through.
That's good. That's really good. That's really, really good. Especially with the daily routine thing. I know that, again, shout out to Chase Shriver. He brings that up a lot in life groups, and he's absolutely right. That's something I need to work on myself. Like, I've got a daily routine, but like setting things to read in the morning or whatever, I haven't quite mastered that yet because I'm a busy high school student, and that's definitely something I've learned I need to work on myself. So, for my final question, though, and this is usually got people, they have to think about this one, but if you could describe NBC in one word, what would it be and why?
If I could describe NBC in one singular word, what would it be and why?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
I would describe NBC as wonderful for many reasons, such as the amount of people that have been saved here.
Mm-hmm.
It is really wonderful what has happened and how many people have been saved and will go to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And also what it has done for me in my family. It has really seemed to connect me to my family better as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before we really started coming here that much, I feel like I didn't really have as good as a relationship with my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't really that great all around.
Yeah.
And also, coming here has had me meet some of my best friends, and it's just really wonderful being here.
Yeah.
I cannot fully describe Northside with one word. It's a wonderful place that many wonderful things have happened in, and I am very thankful for my life here, for my friends and the church, and everything to do about it.
Amen, man. I totally agree. And just to kind of close us out, one thing I did want to say to you is that I'm so encouraged by you and Cameron every single time I see you. And I know you guys are going to do amazing things wherever the Lord takes you to go. And just to see you guys grow, like you said, has been an absolute honor because, and I was telling somebody this the other day, like, well, of course I'm not, an adult, but like I kind of feel like that, because again, I don't know, like, just an example, if you were, say if like you were watching me as like for an example for something, you want to be that good example for that person. And that's always been something that I've been cautious with, and I kind of feel like that I guess kind of mentorship type deal, even though there kind of isn't one, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
With me being older, but it's so cool to watch you guys grow, and especially like we've said with Cameron before, like you and not just Cameron, but all of you guys have really come out of your shell. Cause I know you're not shy, but you've started talking to people more and things like that. But I say you're not shy, but you run around like crazy. But
yeah, I used to be. I remember the first day I came here. When I came to the youth group, the big room.
Yeah.
And I was just so nervous. I didn't know what to do. I kept messing up. I just followed Cameron around.
Hey.
I was embarrassed.
I mean, that's where we all
lost.
start. And I remember like my first time in the youth group. Drew Fairclough, he invited me, and it was funny because we were in the old one at the time. So Stephen and Baines, they're on the other side, but I walked in the other way because Noah actually 'cause I didn't know where I was going. So Noah brought me in, and so, you know, I sat on the other side, and I think I sat next to Mr. Because there was the chairs on the side over there. Sat with Mr. Brandon and Mr. Tasha, but Drew actually came and sat with me, and but I thought it was so cool because I'm like, there's all these kids here on a Wednesday night, like, because most of us are in public school or if we're having classes or whatever, and it's crazy to me. But yeah, and I'm really, I'm so thankful that I've, gotten to know you and your family. It's been such an honor, and I can't wait to see where God takes this episode, man. It's gonna be good.
And also about Drew Fairclough, he is such a wonderful guy. Like Drew Fairclough, he really has been probably one of the biggest influences I have had. He is such, I can't even describe it. He's great.
And I know, he's been, I think he loves you to pieces, man. I really do, because just as a funny little thing, dude, he signed your chest at D now. Like he signed his signature on your, and like that
has that dollar.
And he signed $1. That's right. I forgot about that. That is hilarious, dude. But that is quintessential Drew Fairclough right there. Like that's got Drew written all over it. And I'm not surprised by that. But he's had a big impact on me and you both. But if there's not any final things that you want to say anything, I think we're good, man. So
thank you for inviting me out to this podcast. I've loved talking to you, and I will definitely enjoy hearing my friends' reactions to this podcast.
Of course, man. Yeah.
And also, great shirt.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
It looks great on you. Won't lie.
Thank you. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It fits well.
Yeah.
And everyone listening should buy it.
Hey, amen to that. But thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait to see what God does with it.
Of course.
With another episode of the Young Minds Podcast coming to a close, I just want to remind you that you are never alone and faith is action. So let's get out there.